It's time to install tuners on the P-Bass. We're getting started right now. Alright guys, welcome back to the P-Bass build. Ready to put these Grover tuners on the headstock. Got the headstock done. It's got 2 coats of honey pine poly on here. It's a satin finish, not glossy. Didn't want glossy. Took me a while to get to this point to get enough of the old finish off that I could actually get this to take. So, ready to put the tuners on. Got these nice Grover precision bass tuners, and they're going to go on like this. So I went to test fit, and here's the retainer ring that goes over, and I ran into yet another snag. This being a Chinese aftermarket bass neck. These washers are a little bit too big. Actually, the holes measure about 17.5 millimeters. The diameter of this, which needs to go in that hole, is about 18.5. And I used one of these calipers to measure that. This is a good tool if you don't have one of these. Only a few bucks on Amazon. This one's a metal one, but I have a plastic one. Works just as good. It's the same mechanism. It's just this is a little more heavy duty. So what I'm going to do here is bore these holes out a little bit too. There's a couple ways I could do this. I could do it with a drill bit, which I definitely do not want to do. You could do it with a Dremel. That's too hard to control. So what I'm going to do is take I have a 1/2 inch drill bit here. Just wrap a rag around the end to protect my hand. Then I have some 180 grit paper, which I'm going to wrap around here. And then I'm going to slowly and carefully bore out the inside of these holes until they're wide enough for this guy to fit it. Alright, I normally don't like to do sanding up here in this area because all the other things I do that I like to keep it dust free, but this is pretty much an isolated thing. So what I did was take my trash bucket here and just propped it up on a bench, stool, and slip this in here. If I hold it right over top, all my dust will go right in the bucket. I have to take a millimeter off from the inside diameter of this. So if you divide that millimeter up by the radius of this hole, it's really not that much. I'm going to do this very carefully and slowly and a little bit at a time. Keep measuring until I get the fit. You have to remember that this is a 1/2 inch drill bit. Throw that paper on there. It's really not that much bigger, but it's not anywhere close to the diameter of this hole. So I'm trying to put pressure on all the way around as I do this. I don't want to go too far. So I'm going to do a little bit, and then I'm going to check it. Now, I can feel it's getting a little bit of purchase on the one end there. So I still have a way to go. This is hard on the wrist, hard on the hands, but it's safer than using a Dremel. Okay, I am at least in the hole here. It's snug, but I found first one, like the red one. Inside. Softwood. Well, it's not softwood. A bit more. See that? About 2/3 of the way in. Okay, finally, got that in. I made this so it's very snug. Not gonna pop right out of there, even though these are gonna go in with screws and be held very still. I still wanted this to be in there snugly so it does not come out, because this piece does not hold this piece in. This needs to be snug in here and not want to fall out on its own. So, only 3 more. Only 3 more. Oh, going to see if I can find some more aggressive sandpaper to use. All right, I think we're in pretty good shape now. Yep, there you can see this is going in there. What I learned from doing these last two. All right, first of all, yes, I changed my shirt. I was roasting in that flannel. These, they bolt on, screw onto the back. Okay, 4 screws a piece. That's a lot. They do not make any connection with this piece. They simply go through. This is a retaining ring, kind of holds it, and it looks nice on this side. But it's not like an electric guitar tuner where when you stick this in, this piece goes through and you screw it in. It doesn't work that way. It's just a retainer. So when you make these holes, you don't want to make them too big so that this piece can just pop out, because there's nothing holding it in except the wood. So if I would have made these too loose where this could just pop in and out like on an electric, they'd pop out, and it would ruin the whole point to even having these on here. So you have to make it snug so that it fits. Now this one is probably, the first one's probably the loosest. If I were to try to get these out of here, this would probably be the easiest one. This one, very tight. This one's kind of in between. This one, I got it about halfway in by hand, and it's nice and easy, nice and even. So I'm just going to take my rubber mallet and give it a little help. Actually, I gotta put it down here on my leg. Here we go. Voila. All done. Okay. I had to prop this up because when I put these in, if I lay this flat on the bench, the end of the tuner protrudes too far and it doesn't allow it. So what I did was I have it propped up on these blocks, and just going to take each of these and they go in like that. Now, because these just drop in and they do not screw on to the insert like on an electric guitar, you don't have this stability. On an electric guitar, when you put this through and you put that sleeve on, it's threaded. You thread those together, you can hand tighten it, and then you can move these to where you want them and they'll pretty much stay there. This not the case. So I want to get these lined up by eye the best I can. And I have to say, it's a little difficult to try to line these up perfectly by eye. I do have a pretty good eye for this kind of stuff. The thing is, the distance between these is not exact for all four. I don't know if you can see that, but the distance between these two is more narrow than between these two and these two, these two and these two. These three seem to be fairly well spaced. This one's a little closer. Who knows why? But as usual, this is another one of those cases where you do the best you can and hope for the best. Just got to take a leap of faith and go for it. Leave it there. I have to hold each one down and make a mark. Le pen. Okay. Le pen is making le mark. Try it like this. Okay, there you can see, I don't know, they look fairly straight. There's a good shot where you can see that they're not distance-wise. Those two spaces are not same as that one. But all right, holes are marked. Got these little tiny 16 of these little tiny itty bitty screws. So I need an itty bitty drill bit that is going to not be as big as this screw. So to test that out, I always take the bit, lay it against the screw. You should be able to see the threads come out on either side of the drill bit when you do this. Now, you might not be able to see that, but I can see it. This is a good size. I don't want to go in too far, too deep. So tape this off. Pretty much take the tip of your drill bit, put it up the bottom of your head of your screw. Don't want to lose that. And then put your tape mark down near the end of the screw. That way the bit won't go farther than the screw needs to go in. So that's my bit. All right, got my teeny tiny bit in there. You can get these bits. I got these at Harbor Freight or True Value. I don't know, someplace that sells drill bits. I bought these packs. I have some that are even like tinier than this. This is like 1/millionth of an inch. And then I have some that are like 1/billionth of an inch, 1/trillionth of it. They're so tiny you can't even see them. I don't even know if my chuck gets tight enough to hold them, but they come in this little pack for like $5. Can't beat it. All right, so now I'm gonna drill these pilot holes. I'm a little shaky on this one here. As a matter of fact, let me show you this. As I was saying, when I try to find the center, you know, the ones that have a nice clean dot there, I'm pretty happy with. That guy, I don't know where the hell that hole is gonna, I don't even have a clue. And that guy, it can be anywhere. So with those, what I'm gonna do is drill the other ones around it, put the piece back on, and see if I can maybe use the punch or something to center that up a little bit. All right. Look, my hand's shaking. This is nerve-wracking, no doubt about it. All right, that should do the trick. Holes are drilled. Now let's see if I can get some of these screws in here. Okay, I have my screwdriver with a very small tip, Phillips head. Go in here. All in all, these holes don't look too bad as far as being lined up. Seems like the hardest part is going to be get them started. I know I'm forgetting something. I like to put a little bit of, this is just an old tea light candle. Just give a little wax on this. Kind of helps it. Go in there a little more smoothly. All right, finally finished. Got them all on there, and I'm glad I did not try to video this, because this was the most difficult thing I have ever done with a guitar build. These screws, let's see, on the first one I did, that one's stripped, that one's stripped, that one's not even all the way down in. This one's stripped, and it's not all the way down. This one's stripped. This one and this one are stripped. And finally, on the fourth one, the last one, these all went in perfectly without a problem. But I got two, if not more, at least two stripped on every other one. Now luckily I got them in pretty far. I have some of the highest quality screwdrivers you can buy. These are super hardened tipped. This thing is like amazing, but it's very difficult to get a grip on because it's small. But this, I ended up forcing these down with every ounce of strength I could, pushing with all my weight. But luckily I have enough screws in each one tight and flush so that nothing's jiggling anyway. So I gotta take what little victories I can get here. So there you go. That's how you mount a set of Grover tuners on a precision bass copy with a Chinese neck. A little extra effort on sanding the holes out, and a lot of extra effort because for some reason these are very high quality, lifetime guaranteed Grover tuners, but the screws they send with them, not that great. I don't want to say they're cheap junk, but anyway, I got nice tuners on there. So that's that. All right. Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is probably a horribly painful video to watch. It's horribly painful to do, but tuners are on. Now I can finally put the bridge, mount the neck, and then we'll be ready for electronics. So the piece base is coming along nicely. This was just a bit of a bitch. So take heed. Doesn't matter what brand tuners you buy too. Same with tuners, string trees, even pick guard screws. Any of those tiny screws, especially the string tree screws in these guys. Be very careful. Do yourself a favor and buy a very expensive small screwdriver, or two, or three, because it'll come in handy. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do, so you can see the rest of this build, because we're getting down to the good part now. Gonna put the neck on, put the bridge on, do the electronics, and then get some strings on, and the piece base will be done. Take care.